What do you got for me?
What's wrong with you people?
I got nothing for you.
What's wrong?
You're not David. How do y'all feel this morning? I feel what? That's how I feel. Well, that was enough for me. We could have had the benediction right there. That was so good.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Reformatory, the podcast for the local church and by the local church. And we are your local churchmen. My name is Josh, and I'm here, as always, with my comrade in arms, Captain Jack Sauce. What's up, baby?
Man, it's now a new. It's not Jack Daddy.
We have to keep it fresh, man. It's something,
Jack Sauce.
anytime I can think of something new, that's what we're gonna do. All right. That's how it's just how it's going to be.
I was thinking of that. It's like, what does that even mean? Never mind what it means. It gets the people going.
Exactly. Never mind what it means. Don't dig into it too deep. Doesn't really matter. Just accept it, and move on. yeah.
Exactly right.
Dude, how you doing, man?
Good. It's been breezy these last over the weekend.
PNW has
been a little bit cooler than usual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sunday it was like super. It was down like. It was like absolutely like raining cats and dogs in like Tacoma.
It
on
was
Sunday.
Yeah.
So
yeah. We were coming back.
It was nuts.
My wife and I were coming back from the lounge, and it was literally like a black wall of clouds. It looks like we were driving into Mordor. Like it was just insane. Yeah, insane.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But, Jack, we're back. We're doing radio,
yes.
man. You're getting ready to go on
We
paternity leave. What are we timeline now? We're T minus how many days till your wife has her baby?
6 or 7.
Yeah, we're right
within
there.
like days. But then on top of that, we don't know if he's going to be on time, if he's going to wait another week to hang out.
That's right. Well, if he's your son, he's going to be late. It's going to happen.
I would say he's going to be he's going to be maybe 1 or 2 days late. That's just me, though.
It's probably going to happen.
That's my prediction.
That makes sense. It's a fair
This
prediction.
is like how we rate movies, right?
It is.
We go in there, we put up our predictions, and then we either get let down or it remains the same.
Right,
so.
right. And we have a lot to talk about on that front with The Flash, because you and I went and saw The Flash. But if people want to hear that, they're going to have to head on over to Patreon to hear Jack and I's thoughts on The Flash. Because we have thoughts. We have thoughts on The Flash.
Oh, yeah, we do.
But you got to head on over to Patreon.
And other people
to hear
have
those.
thoughts, too.
Yeah, a lot of people have thoughts. yeah. Or not a lot of people have thoughts, depending on how you want to look at it. Right.
Yeah.
But, Jack, before we get into our topic today, man, why don't you give us the Reformatory Cigar of the Week? What do you have for us?
So, we are continuing on our Warped tour with Warped cigars. So, deep cut for all my millennial people that know what the Warped tour is, and even Gen Xers. So, we are continuing on this Warped tour of the Warped cigar brand aligned with Maestro del Tiempo. Maestro del Tiempo is the cigar.
Maestro.
It is a Lonsdale. It is a Puro Nicaraguan. No shortage, no change really there from what we usually do. Has a couple different, I would say, Corojo blends. So actually, it's not, I wouldn't say Corojo blends. So there's a different Nicaraguan fillers in there. Meaning that there's Corojo, I think 98 or 99, and then there's Carrillo 98 or 99 in there. Okay. And so that basically impacts the flavor, which is, it starts off kind of woodsy and herbal at first.
Okay. All right.
And then it starts to pick up with some earthiness and some chocolate and some kind of almonds and nut kind of flavor. MSRP anywhere from about $9.50 to $10.50. So $9.50 to $10.50 is pretty good for a Lonsdale, I would say. It's been rated probably consistently anywhere between 85 and 92.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I would say that's a pretty decent cigar rating. So
There
anyway.
it is. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it, dude. Well,
It's,
hey.
it was
that's
a good,
awesome.
Yeah, it was a good burn. Really didn't have any issues with the burn. Really didn't have any issues with anything on this cigar. It was just really good. And Warped continues its line of good cigars. So
There
you
it
go.
goes. What's it called again?
The Maestro del Tiempo.
Nice. I like it. All right. Well, the Maestro del Tiempo
So-
by Warped Cigars. That is the Reformatory Cigar of the Week. And my friends, you know what to do. Go and smoke to the glory of God. All right, Jack. Well, one more piece of business, my friend, before we hop into our topic today. We have a shout out that we need to do. We have a vow that we must make right. We have had another very, very faithful listener join the ranks of the Reformatory. They have joined the Podluck. They've come into the doors, and they're getting that sweet, sweet exclusive content. We are shouting out today.
Yes.
I'm going to try to say this name right, and I apologize in advance
gosh.
if I get it wrong. I believe it is Latume Vea. I think that's how you say it. It's a cool name. I just am pretty dumb. So, Latume Vea, you have joined the Podluck, and we thank you for your $5 holla. We thank you for joining the Reformatory. Thank you for supporting us. We hope that you enjoy that amazing exclusive content, and our vow has been fulfilled, and your name has been hallowed through the halls of the podcast.
It has been hallowed, sir. It has been
Yes,
hallowed.
it has.
So.
It has been hallowed. We thank you for your patronage, my friend. All right. Time to get into the topic today, Jack. This is a topic that you threw over to us, and I thought it was a really, really good one. We're going to talk about today the importance of being discerning when it comes to who you allow yourself to be influenced by. All right, and we're talking people that you can listen to, people that you can read, people that you can be around, right? I think we are faced with very unique challenges. I don't know if they're unique challenges, but I think they manifest themselves in unique ways due to technology, due to especially social media, to where now all it takes is an email and a weak to medium password to get an account, and your voice can be heard by thousands, sometimes millions of people, right? Social media has really changed the landscape on what it's like to have a platform, right? And now individuals who I would attest before social media would not have had the platform that they do now have platforms because of how social media works, right? And it requires a great level of discernment by Christians when it comes to who you click follow on, who you listen to, who you read, who you allow yourself to be influenced by, right? Because we're all going to be discipled by something. And it's very important that we as Christians know and take great care to know that the people that we are allowing to disciple us are doing so in a right and godly and biblical way. Because there are so many people out there these days that have massive platforms for one reason or another, are claiming to be preaching biblical truth and just frankly aren't. Right? Or, maybe some of the things they say are right, but the way that they are saying it is just massively unhelpful, and it just adds poison to the medicine, right? So, again, it comes down to discernment, right? And this is something that you wanted to talk about, and I think it's a fantastic topic, especially for today today's day and age. So I'm going to throw it over to you first, Jack. When you were kind of thinking through this topic today and wanting to talk about it, share with us some of your initial thoughts.
Yeah, I think that when Josh and I first started to talk about this, I originally started to talk about this because I think people have the right intentions, but maybe some mixed motives when it comes to helping local churches sometimes. So why I say that is because there are people that have been on social media for whatever reason. They've made meme pages. They've done this. They've done that. Some of them have been extremely helpful. I would say that there's a good few pages that I follow that are extremely helpful, right? And then there's some pages and there's some people that come across as just like, I've hit my peak, and so now I have to rebrand myself.
Oh, yes.
And in order to rebrand myself, I am going to rebrand myself as a guru of the church. Okay. I have this figured out, right? I have a monopoly on how to do things right in the local church or in your church. So hit the bell and subscribe.
Sure. Sure.
So, I mean, I think that's kind of, I don't know if that's a dangerous precedent, but you're doing things in a way in which you're saying to local churches not so much about how you care about how they do things in their local church and encouraging maybe like their elders or their leaders, but you're basically saying, I can be your teacher, to which we would say that's not very biblical in how we look at how local churches structure themselves, right? Mm-hmm. We don't look at gurus to basically fix our local churches. Like, we look at our elders, and then on top of it, we look to God, right? We look to our triune God to make sure that, hey, like, what are we blind to right now that we need to focus in on? What do we need to take stock of? Like, I feel like there's, and I guess it's because we're in the American church, the North American church, where it's very easy. If you have a problem, just go out to the marketplace and somebody will fix it for you, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
guys,
we live.
This is not how stuff happens.
You know, like, we live in the age of Google, where everything's so accessible, and if you want an answer to some either theological problem that you have or something that you're wrestling with or something like that, it's so much easier to go to the loud voices that you are aware of online versus the individuals that God has placed in your life for that exact purpose. And that's your pastors primarily, but then your brothers and sisters in your local church, right? That is one of the primary reasons God has given us a church family, is to be there for us when we have those questions or when we have those struggles, and we're looking for some encouragement, we're looking for conviction, we're looking for answers. It always saddens me when I hear folks talk about how, you know, their response or their reaction to those hard times is to go online, right, and to go kind of seek out the wisdom of individuals that, you know, might have good things to say, right, and might be being used by God in good ways, but at the end of the day, don't know you and aren't part of your life, and can't take those truths that they're speaking and apply them specifically to your situation, which is the entire point, right? That's the entire point of having someone in your life to do that, is how does these spiritual truths apply to me, right? How do I take these truths in the Word of God, and my life is then changed by them, right? And you don't get that level of care that you need online. And I think, to your point, Jack, there are too many individuals out there right now with, I think, good intentions, probably at the core, but I think a massively incorrect understanding of how this works, how this is supposed to work, right? If God has given you a burden, to serve people in this way, it should be primarily through your local church, right? I mean, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason for this podcast here, right? If neither of us were engaged in our local church to the degree that we were, I would ask the Lord to just end the podcast because
pretty much.
Because if you're saying one thing but you're not doing but you're not putting it into practice, you're not really believing it, right? And ultimately the local church has to come first. It has to come before your podcast. It has to come before your blog. It has to come before your platform. And if one of those things has to go, it has to be it can't be the local church at the end of the day, right? So I'm with you, man. Like I think there's a lot of good stuff out there, and I do like I'm not one of the naysayer guys that's like, oh, the internet is the absolute worst thing. Like I think there has been great benefit that has come from it, and there's great encouragement that can be found, but we have to be very careful what place we give it in our hearts.
Yeah, and I think another thing that comes alongside this that I don't think was helpful within the last 20 or so odd years of evangelicalism in North America was kind of younger guys thinking that they could come into the local church and they could run it and they could do it better than anybody else, and then they could tell other churches how they could benefit from their wisdom. But I mean, that's what I see in a lot of, and it still happens. Younger guys still do this. Like they think that just because you become a part of a mega church and you have a platform and your pastor may be well known within North American evangelicalism, and you've been doing quote unquote Lord's Day service operations for the last
which
5
means
years.
you're just you're a glorified camera guy. like you've just been on the media team for 3 years and now just got your first shot on stage giving announcements, and now it's like, oh, I'm the guy. I've got a lot to say. Sorry, that was really cynical.
Like I hate
that
to
was
tell,
that was really cynical.
Well, I mean, I hate to tell you this, but it's like you don't have everything figured out, guy. Like,
No,
let's be
you
honest
don't.
about this. Like, I can go to our deacons, who there's actually quite a good mix of age range in our deacons at my local church, and I can talk about. We have older deacons, we have younger deacons, right? And they have different perspectives, and they have different ways in which we can go about doing things within the local church. And I feel like people just want to make it complicated so they can make money off of it. Sure. This is not complicated, guys. Like having a Lord's Day service, you can make it complicated if you want to, or you could just make it very biblically simplistic and have a liturgy and then go off of that liturgy and then just keep doing that. Like,
What a novel
isn't,
idea.
I think that people yeah, I know, right? I think that people just want to take and continue to use the megachurch model to make money for them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is not the future of the local church in North America. I just don't think that's it. So
No, I don't think it is either, man. And I think it's I think part of the issue here, and it ties into what you're saying, is I think there are too many people coming on the scene, both guys and gals, trying to be the next spiritual, innovator, right, and they have come up with a system that's never been done, and they want to be novel, right, and they want to be edgy, and they want to show how their method, their ways of doing things, their ideas have never been tried before, right? And it's always ironic to me that usually, not always, but usually goes hand in hand with being young, both in age and in ministerial experience.
Yeah.
Right. And it's akin to, I mean, it's akin to the married couple who's been married, a year and a half, giving marriage advice. Right.
Yeah.
It's akin to the guy. It's akin to the guy who's, his oldest kid is like 2. And he's given like parenting advice, right? And it's just like, come on, man, come on, guys. Like, it's just this.
Yeah.
You aren't here yet, right? And again, I know the verse: "Do not despise someone because of their youth," and that's not what I'm saying. I am not saying that youth automatically equals immaturity, because I know many old guys who have been in ministry a lot longer than I have that are massively immature. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Massively.
Absolutely.
Right? So it is not a 1-to-1 equation. However, we have to be very careful as Christians to be discerning when it comes to these very passionate, very charismatic figures that we see online that are gaining these large followings because of the things that they are saying and the ways that they are saying them. Because at the end of the day, man, like I don't believe that a following equals quality. I don't. I think it can.
Yeah.
I think it can be a sign that what that person is saying is good, and they have a following because what they're saying is good. But I think too many Christians equate those two things and think, oh, this person's got a lot of followings, on Twitter, or, they've got a really successful blog. Therefore, what they're saying must be really, really good. So I'm gonna make them a part of my life and sit at their feet, right? And the adjudication process has to be much more severe than that, right? And one step, I will say this, Jack, and then I'll throw it over to you again. One step that is often just completely missed, completely skipped when we're looking at these individuals online is take these individuals to your pastors and ask what they think about them. Like, there are too many Christians, even Christians that are committed to their local church, that are going spiritual lone wolf when trying to discern, who to listen to and who to follow, right? It doesn't matter where you are in the church, whether you're a member, whether you're a deacon, or whether you're a pastor. Like, we need the wisdom of other people around us, right? And if you're going to go all lone wolf, just being like, hey, like my adjudication is enough, you're going to run into trouble, and that's. Like I've seen it too many times. I've seen it too many times, Jack, both in my own churches as well as in the churches of others, where members of the church, unbeknownst to the pastors, right, are being changed spiritually because of who they were listening to outside of the doors of the church. And it's under the nose of the pastor. Yeah. And there's no communication there whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, boom, it explodes. And these people turn out like the conversations happen, and it is just all hell breaks loose because these people have been being discipled and allowing themselves to be discipled by someone who's not their pastor. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, you believe what? Yeah. Wait, hold on. You think what? You're leaving the church because why? Right? And it's just not healthy. It's not a healthy thing. Yeah. And we need to realize that and be very discerning and very open with who we are allowing ourselves to be discipled by, especially when it's outside of the doors of our church.
Yeah. I mean, that was the challenge in this last couple years that we just went through.
Oh,
people were listening to people. I feel like, here's the thing, like, and this is what happened, I think, when I left the church that we used to belong to and we joined and became members of a different church. Part of it was you had, and it really comes down to church polity too, and just how you run your church to some degree, because if you have a mob rule in your church that is not going to help out anybody. And if you're just pressed by your members because of hearsay and because of, anecdotes, that's not helping the conversation move forward. Mm-hmm. What should help the conversation move forward, making decisions like we went through this last 2-3 years, is you having membership meetings and sitting down and getting to business with the family of the church, the local church that you're a part of, and talking about it. Like, just living in silos, didn't help us out at all.
No, it didn't.
So why are we going to take that faulty method and then try to adjudicate ways that can, quote unquote, benefit the church through these people that are literally trying to be like apostles? Mm-hmm. Basically, come listen to me. I know the secret. I don't want to say Gnosticism, but in a sense, it's come listen to me. I have the secret sauce. I have this secret knowledge to how to reform your church and make it better and stuff like that. It's no, you don't.
Well, don't. It's like all those guys. It's like all those guys that you see on Instagram and like the YouTube ads that it's want to lose weight fast? It's not cardio. It's not exercise. Follow me. Watch my 2-hour presentation and pay $78 for me to tell you my method for losing weight fast. It's that one guy who's you think it's cardio? It's not cardio. Stop running. And it's just like that's what it's like. It's do you want to be? Want to be? And there's that one worship guy with the weird hair that goes around. He does
man.
it. He just did communion.
Oh man,
he's the guy that just did communion at the White House. Him and his wife just pulled out
it's the Capitol building.
The freaking COVID communion cups, and they're taking communion by themselves in the he's the guy I'm talking about. I forget his name, but it's Sean
Fuchs. Sean
Fuchs.
Yeah,
knucklehead. What a knucklehead, man! That guy.
What a knucklehead.
He's a knucklehead. He was over there taking communion. He's taking communion on the DC. Man, shouldn't be listening to him. I don't know, man. He is, man. Yeah.
And then he says ridiculous. And I mean, here's the thing too that just it proves my point with just him alone. He'll say stuff like what he said, I proclaim the blood of Jesus over this land. What does that even mean? What are you even talking about, dude? You're not making any sense. And I feel people somehow they'll say they'll use Christianese language to try and basically sell you on something about how to make your local church better. And there's just nothing to that. No, it literally goes back to basically there's a problem. Okay. Right. How do we deal with that problem in the local church? You have a members meeting. you bring the members of the church together and you talk about it. And then you come up with options and contingency plans. And then from there, if you're a Congregationalist church, at least for the most part, you basically take it to the vote and then basically vote on what would be the next contingency for this plan. So, guys, this isn't rocket science. And we don't need to make a free ebook about this either. This is free 99. Okay, literally any local church could do that tomorrow.
That's right.
So, exactly. I mean, come on.
It honestly it can get ridiculous, right? And again, it comes down. It comes down to there's just I think one of the issues that plagues the North American church specifically is just an infatuation with celebrityism, right? And we've talked about that before on the podcast. Yeah. And it's just it's a desire to flock alongside someone who's popular and really hot in the moment, right? And it's just something that something we all struggle with, right? We all have to be careful with it. I know I have to be careful with it. It's very easy to be captured by by the the charismatic personalities of these individuals. You're like, yeah, they're a good public speaker. They know how to win over a crowd, right? They know how to say these things. And then sometimes, like, a lot of things that they're saying, I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. Like, that 100%. That's needed to be said.
Yeah.
But I can't raise them to the level of my pastors. I can't raise them to the level of my brothers and sisters in my church who aren't my pastors, right? I put more stock into the opinions and the discernment of my brothers and sisters that are alongside me in membership than I do any of the celebrity pastors that are out there right now. And it's for one reason and one reason only, because my brothers and sisters know me. They walk alongside me. They have their feet under my kitchen table. We're working together. We're playing together. We're crying together. We have joy together. We're worshiping together. We're engaged in life together. And that level of experience, that level of closeness, puts them in a better position to be able to speak truth into your life than any of these other guys that are online. And we have to realize that. And then act accordingly after realizing it, right? You can utilize the wisdom that is out there, and there's lots of wisdom that's out there. Like, I'm thankful for a lot of the resources that I am able to access because of things like social media or things like the internet, But I have to be very careful in discerning, what place I allow those things to take in my heart, because, man, we are a factory of idols, as Calvin said, or it might have been Edwards.
Yes,
I think it was Calvin, right? Like, we will make an idol out of it.
Yeah.
It was Calvin. We will make an idol out of anything.
Yeah.
We have to be very careful of that, and come back to the local church, right? Like, you're coming back to that centrality. Come back to your pastors. Come back to your brothers and sisters. Come back to that centrality, and that's what's going to keep you grounded. Right, and that's what's going to keep you from going off to right field and left field of listening to, Fuke or whatever his name is, and it's just guys like that, right? Where it's just like, good gracious, man, like, we need like a spiritual, like, in a local church, Steve Austin, to go, like, open up a can of on that on that guy. Austin 3:16 says you just lost your mind.
Oh my gosh!
Want to take communion?
Good. We need to have local church sheriffs. Now there's going to be another
local
office
church sheriffs,
made. Oh my gosh! Oh man!
Oh my gosh!
Which
dude,
I think. Yeah. I don't know if this is true. This is totally down a rabbit trail. I don't know if this is true or not, but wasn't John Knox basically like the bodyguard of some pastor back in the day during the Reformation era?
I think he was. I forget who
used
was.
to carry a broadsword.
John Knox was. He was the Scottish Reformer, and he's basically told it was Queen Mary to take a hike. Right, and like he was like a thorn in her side, and he carried around a broadsword. Like, he was one of a kind. He was one of a kind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty metal. It's pretty metal.
It is pretty metal, baby. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Well, Jack, I think Stone Cold has sung.
Yeah. I think Stone Cold has stunned us.
So we done been stunned. We done been stunned.
I think Big Eva has been stunned by Stone Cold now. Not Big Eva has sung. It's she's been stunned.
I'm gonna get a beer.
Oh,
get another beer. Let's get out of here, man.
Tequila.
Gonna get some tequila.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you appreciate how we can take a very what could have been a downer of a topic and turn it upside down and make it something worth your while, and make it something focused on your local church and focused on you and how you can contribute to your local church, you can continue the conversation that Josh and I start on these different podcast episodes by engaging us on the sociables. Yes, those dumpster fires of jubilance, maybe, if you would say that. You can follow us on the Facebook, the metaverse, if you will. You can follow us on the Instagram. Goes well with chocolate and marshmallow. Or you can follow us on everyone's favorite, the Tweaker, the Twitter, the little blue bird site, Muskerville, if you will.
The Facebook,
all
the internet.
Yeah.
If you like
all Josh
you
is
like subpar Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Josh
give me a
is-
heck yeah.
Josh is just going to do Stone Cold Steve Austin
Stone Cold
impersonations
Steve
for the
Austin.
rest of this
That's
episode.
right.
You can follow us at the tag at Reformatory Pod.
There's somebody.
Stone
there's
Cold,
somebody
you
right
can
now
tell
going,
us how they
"Josh,
can get
Stop it.
Josh has
Shut
lost
up.
it. Josh has
Absolutely
lost
shut
his
up.
mind.
Shut up.
I paid $5 for this.
If there's one thing I can't stand, it's listeners telling me how to
Josh,
dole
you
out
can
my free content.
You can tell the lovely people how they might support your Stone Cold Steve Austin impressions.
If you want to support the podcast, head on over to Patreon/Reformatory Pod. Get yourself a beer. Get some exclusive content.
All right. I'll stop. I just do it because I know it makes you laugh.
It does. It kills me.
Welcome to Reformatory Pod.
All right. Well, there are many ways that you can support the podcast. You can head on, like we said, over to Patreon. You can give us a little $5 holla. That would be fantastic. Join the Patreon. Get that sweet exclusive content that Jack and I are going to go record right after this episode. If you're on Apple or Spotify,
yes.
give us a little rating on there. Give us a little 5 stars for 5 solos. We'd really appreciate that. And maybe write us a little review. Tell us what you like about the podcast. Tell us how you found the podcast. As always, reach out to us. Let us know any topics that you'd like us to cover, stuff like that. We love opening mail. It's a really, really good time. And we're going to get out of here. We're going to go record some exclusive eps for our people. If you want to hear Jack and I's thoughts on the new Flash movie, well, that's where we're going right now. We're going over to talk about that. So
Yep.
that'll be interesting. So we thank you all for listening. And we'll catch you on the next step
Of the Reformatory.